As the banners and flags in North Korea flashed with images of Putin, the Russian president arrived in Pyongyang to a hero's welcome. The streets were lined with portraits of Putin, and North Korean and Russian flags hung side by side. The facade of the towering Rugyong Hotel was brightly lit with a giant message reading, "Welcome Putin." In this extraordinary event, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has embarked on a visit to North Korea, marking his first trip to Pyongyang in 24 years, the day was filled with grand ceremonies and significant discussions. Putin's visit began with an embrace from North Korean leader Kim Jong Un at Pyongyang's airport. Now, this visit comes at a crucial time with both nations facing severe international sanctions and looking to bolster their alliance.
I think a lot of this is really meant to, upgrade the relationship and demonstrate that the relationship is deepening. We saw even back in January, when North Korean Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee had gone to Russia, she had talked about really building and expanding the legal basis for their cooperation. And I think the expectation here now, and especially coming from Russian press, is that there will be a treaty signed, upgrade the relationship, and then, and likely to expand the level of cooperation and include some security components within that treaty.
In fact, in a symbolic gesture, Putin praised North Korea ahead of his arrival, commending Pyongyang for resisting US economic pressure, blackmail, and threats. He even promised to develop alternative trade mechanisms and strengthen security across Eurasia, signaling a sort of reassessment of Russia's approach to North Korea. Russian President Putin received a very warm welcome from North Korean leader Kim Jong Un in Pyongyang, marking the beginning of summit talks aimed at strengthening ties between their nations. The grand ceremony took place at Kim Il-sung Square, where enthusiastic North Koreans, many of them holding balloons and banners, gathered in front of the Grand People's Study Hall, which was decorated with large portraits of Kim and Putin. Following the ceremony, the leaders traveled together to the Kumsusan Palace for their summit discussions. The Russian-made Oris limousine carried both leaders through the decorated streets, heading towards the Kumsusan State Guest House. Putin's visit is not just about diplomacy, but also about economic and military support. The Russian leader brought gifts including an Oris limousine, a tea set, and an admiral's dirk, symbolizing the deepening ties between the two nations. In fact, Putin issued a presidential order on the eve of his visit, aiming to sign a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty with North Korea. This treaty is expected to include security issues and outline prospects for further cooperation. North Korea's state media even published articles praising Russia and supporting its military operations in Ukraine, calling it a sacred war of all Russian citizens. Now, this mutual support highlights the growing alliance between the two nations.
We need to be aware of that authoritarian powers are aligning more and more, and they are supporting each other in a way we haven't seen before. We see that also, of course, in the war in Ukraine. North Korea has provided enormous amount of ammunition. We see how they're loading on containers with ammunition on trains in North Korea, and they go all the way across the border between North Korea and Russia. There's a small border by the Pacific coast, and the trains go all the way to the front line, and they unload, and this ammunition goes straight to the front, attacking also Ukrainians. So, of course, in return, Russia's giving something to North Korea. And we are very deeply concerned about the possibility of also Russia now providing support for their nuclear and missile programs. So again, the answer is that when they are more and more aligned, authoritarian regimes like North Korea, China, Iran, Russia, then it's even more important that we are aligned as countries believing in freedom and democracy. So NATO is in that way even more important now than before.
Meanwhile, the United States and its allies have expressed concerns over the deepening cooperation between Russia and North Korea. Major General Patrick Ryder, a Pentagon spokesperson, emphasized the potential threat that this alliance poses to peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Let's hear what he had to say.
The deepening cooperation between Russia and the DPRK is something that should be of concern, especially to anyone that's interested in maintaining peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, but also supporting the people of Ukraine as they continue to fight against Russian aggression. And so, of course, you're well aware of DPRK providing ammunition and weapons to Russia that's been able to help them perpetuate their illegal and unprovoked war against the Ukrainian people. So it's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on. I would say, though, taking a step back, our focus when it comes to the Indo-Pacific region and the Korean Peninsula is on working with allies and partners to promote peace, stability, and security in the region, and that will continue to be our focus.
Now, North Korean leader Kim Jong Un reaffirmed his support for Russia, pledging unconditional backing for Russia's policies, including its military operations in Ukraine. He emphasized the strategic cooperation between North Korea and Russia amidst the complex global geopolitical situation.
The government of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea expresses full support and solidarity with the Russian government, army, and people in carrying out a special military operation in Ukraine to protect our sovereignty, security interests, as well as territorial integrity. The situation continues to be complex and changing all the time. We take this opportunity to confirm once again that we will continue to further, more closely strengthen strategic communication with the Russian leadership and Russia, even in the complex global geopolitical situation, and continue to unconditionally support all of Russia's policies.
All in all, the trip aims to reshape decades of Russia-North Korea relations at a time when both nations face increasing international isolation. As we continue to monitor this developing story, it is very clear that the visit by Russian President Vladimir Putin to North Korea marks a significant moment in international diplomacy with potential far-reaching consequences. Stay tuned for more updates to India Today Global.